Hello, my dear children. Myself Sujata. In the last class, we learned about issues related to poverty, basis of poverty analysis, poverty line, and estimation of poverty in India. Today, we will learn about vulnerable groups, interstate disparities in poverty, measures for removal of poverty, and the challenges ahead. First, we will discuss about vulnerable groups. Vulnerable groups are groups that experience a higher risk of poverty and social exclusion than the general population. The proportion of people below poverty line is also not same for all social groups and economic categories in India. Social groups which are most vulnerable to poverty are scheduled caste and scheduled tribe households. Similarly, among the economic groups, the most vulnerable groups are the rural agricultural labor households and the urban casual labor households. So, study the graph given which shows the percentage of poor people in all these groups. Okay, let us listen to a story. Story of Shivaraman. Shivaraman lives in a small village near Karur town in Tamil Nadu. Karur is famous for its handloom and powerloom fabrics. There are 100 families in the village. Shivaraman, an Aryundhatyar, that means a cobbler by caste, now works as an agricultural laborer for rupees 50 per day. But that is only for 5 to 6 months in a year. At other times, he does odd jobs in the town. His wife, Shashikala, too, works with him. But she can rarely find work these days, and even if she does, she is paid rupees 25 per day for the same work that Shivaraman does. There are 8 members in the family. Shivaraman's 65-year-old widowed mother is ill and needs to be helped with her daily chores. He has a 25-year-old unmarried sister and 4 children aged between 1 year to 16 years. 3 of them are girls. The youngest is a son. None of the girls go to school. Buying books and other things for school going girls is a luxury he cannot afford. Also, he has to get them married at some point of time, so he doesn't want to spend on their education now. His mother has lost interest in life and is just waiting to die someday. His sister and elder daughter take care of the household. Shivaraman plans to send his son to school when he comes of age. His unmarried sister does not get along with his wife. Shashikala finds her a burden, but Shivaraman can't find a suitable groom due to lack of money. Although the family has difficulty in arranging 2 meals a day. Shivaraman manages to buy milk once in a while, but only for his son. Okay, hope you have understood the story. Now try to do this activity. Observe some of the poor families around you and try to find the following. Which social and economic group do they belong to? Who are the earning members in the family? What is the condition of the old people in the family? Are all the children, boys and girls, attending schools? Okay, now let us try to understand interstate disparities in poverty. Poverty in India also has another aspect or dimension. The proportion of poor people is not the same in every state. Although state level poverty has witnessed a secular decline from the levels of early 70s. The success rate of reducing poverty varies from state to state. So please look into the graph to have a closer understanding of it. Recent estimates show while the All India HCR, that is the headcount ratio, was 21.9% in 2011-12, states like Madhya Pradesh, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Orissa had above all India poverty level. HCR ratio or the headcount ratio is the population proportion that exists or lives below the poverty threshold. So the graph 3.2 or the graph given below shows Bihar and Orissa continue to be the two poorest states with poverty ratios of 33.7 and 37.6% respectively. Along with rural poverty, urban poverty is also high in Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. In comparison, there has been a significant decline in poverty in Kerala, Jammu and Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and West Bengal. States like Punjab and Haryana have traditionally succeeded in reducing poverty with the help of high agricultural growth rates. Kerala has focused more on human resource development. In West Bengal, land reform measures have helped in reducing poverty. In Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, public distribution of food grains could have been responsible for the improvement. Okay, now let us discuss about global poverty scenario. Global poverty is defined as the number of people worldwide who live on less than $1 a day. A person surviving on less than $1 a day lives in extreme poverty. So the proportion of people in developing countries living in extreme economic poverty defined by the World Bank as living on less than $1.25 per day has fallen from 43% in 1990 to 22% in 2008. Although there has been a substantial reduction in global poverty, it is marked with great regional differences. Poverty declined substantially in China and Southeast Asian countries as a result of rapid economic growth and massive investments in human resource development. Number of poor in China has come down from 85% in 1981 to 14% in 2008 to 6% in 2011. In the countries of South Asia, which include India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, the decline has not been as rapid from 54 to 15%. In sub-Saharan Africa, poverty in fact rose from 51% in 1981 and declined to 47% in 2008. See graph 3.3. In Latin America, the ratio of poverty remained the same. It has declined from 11% in 1981 to 6.4% in 2008. Poverty has also resurfaced in some of the former socialist countries like Russia, where officially it was non-existent earlier. Okay, now look into this table. Table 3.2 shows the proportion of people living under poverty in different countries as defined by the International Poverty Line. That means population below $1 a day. The Millennium Development Goals of the United Nations calls for reducing the proportion of people living on less than $1 a day to half the 1990 level by 2015. Okay, study the given graphs and do the following. Identify the 3 states where the poverty ratio is the highest. Identify the 3 states where poverty ratio is the lowest. Okay, study the graph 3.4 and do the following. Identify the areas of the world where poverty ratios have declined. Identify the area of the globe which has the largest concentration of the poor. It will help you to understand the global poverty scenario. Okay, now let us try to understand what can be the causes of poverty. There were a number of causes for the widespread poverty in India. One historical reason is the low level of economic development under the British colonial administration. The policies of the colonial government ruined traditional handicrafts and discouraged development of industries like textiles. The low rate of growth persisted until the 1980s. This resulted in less job opportunities and low growth rate of incomes. This was accompanied by a high growth rate of population. The two combined to make the growth rate of per capita income very low. Per capita income or average income measures the average income earned per person in a given area in a specified year. The failure at both the fronts, that is, promotion of economic growth and population control, perpetuated the cycle of poverty. With the spread of irrigation and the Green Revolution, many job opportunities were created in the agriculture sector. The industries, both in the public and the private sector, did provide some jobs. Unable to find proper jobs in cities, many people started working as rickshaw pullers, vendors, construction workers, domestic servants, etc. With irregular small incomes, these people could not afford expensive housing. They started living in slums on the outskirts of the cities, and the problems of poverty, largely a rural phenomenon, also became the feature of the urban sector. Another feature of high poverty rates has been the huge income inequalities. One of the major reasons for this is the unequal distribution of land and other resources. So, one of the major reasons for the poverty is the unequal distribution of land and other resources. Despite many policies, we have not been able to tackle the issue in a meaningful manner. Major policy initiatives like land reforms, which aimed at redistribution of assets in rural areas, have not been implemented properly and effectively by most of the state governments. Since lack of land resources has been one of the major causes of poverty in India, proper implementation of policy could have improved the life of millions of rural poor. So let us look into socio-cultural and economic factors. In order to fulfill social obligations and observe religious ceremonies, people in India, including the very poor, spend a lot of money. Small farmers need money to buy agricultural inputs like seeds, fertilizer, pesticides, etc. Since poor people hardly have any savings, they borrow. Unable to repay because of poverty, they become victims of indebtedness. So, the high level of indebtedness is both the cause and effect of poverty. Okay, what can be the anti poverty measures? The current anti poverty strategy of the government is based broadly on two planks, that is, promotion of economic growth and targeted anti poverty. First, let us look into promotion of economic growth. Over a period of 30 years, lasting up to the early 80s, there were little per capita income growth and not much reduction in poverty. Official poverty estimates, which were about 45% in the early 1950s, remained the same even in the early 80s. Since the 80s, India's economic growth has been one of the fastest in the world. The growth rate jumped from the average of about 3.5% a year in the 1970s to about 6% during the 1980s and 1990s. The higher growth rates have helped significantly in the reduction of poverty. Therefore, there is a strong link between economic growth and poverty reduction. Economic growth widens opportunities and provides the resources needed to invest in human development. This also encourages people to send their children, including the girl child, to schools in the hope of getting better economic returns from investing in education. Okay, now let us focus on targeted anti poverty programs. There are so many schemes which are to affect poverty directly or indirectly. Some of them are worth mentioning. One of the scheme is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. In the year 2005, it aims to provide 100 days of wage employment to every household to ensure livelihood security in rural areas. Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana is another scheme which was started in 1993. The aim of the program is to create self employment opportunities for educated, unemployed youth in rural areas and small towns. They are helped in setting up small business and industries. Rural Employment Generation Program or REGP was launched in 1995. The aim of the program is to create self employment opportunities in rural areas and small towns. A target to creating 25 lakh new jobs has been set for the program under the 10th 5-year plan. Swarna Jayanti Grama Swarozgar Yojana was launched in 1999. Aims at bringing the assisted poor families above the poverty line by organizing them into self-help groups through a mix of bank credit and government subsidy. Under the Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, launched in 2000, additional central assistance is given to states for basic services such as primary health, primary education, rural shelter, rural drinking water, and rural electrification. Another important scheme is Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Okay, let us see what can be the challenges ahead. Poverty has certainly declined in India. But despite the progress, poverty reduction remains India's most compelling challenge. Wide disparities in poverty are visible between rural and urban areas and among different states. Certain social and economic groups are more vulnerable to poverty. Poverty reduction is expected to make better progress in the next 10 to 15 years. This would be possible mainly due to higher economic growth, increasing stress on universal free elementary education, declining population growth, increasing empowerment of the women and the economically weaker sections of society. Okay, now let us see how we can eradicate poverty. Worldwide experience shows that with development, the definition of what constitutes poverty also changes. Eradication of poverty is always a moving target. Hopefully, we will be able to provide the minimum necessary in terms of fully income to all people by the end of the next decade. But the target will move on for many of the bigger challenges that still remain. For example, providing health care, education and job security for all, and achieving gender equality and dignity for the poor. Okay, let us recap what we have learned in this session. We had discussed about the vulnerable groups, which include social and economic groups. Then we learned about the interstate disparities in poverty, the present global poverty scenario, causes of poverty, and the measures for removal of poverty, and which are the challenges ahead, which include poverty reduction, providing health care facilities, education and job security for all, achieving gender equality, and dignity for the poor. Okay, hope you have understood. Now go through the slides repeatedly and try to answer all the questions given at the end of the chapter. Okay, meet you in the next session. Thank you.